Eiichiro Oda has designed some of the most emotionally complex villains in manga history. Men driven by tragic dreams, corrupted ideals, or catastrophic loss. But then, there is Rob Lucci. For nearly 20 years, the One Piece community has viewed Lucci as the ultimate apex predator of the world government, a literal hound on a leash, operating under the terrifying banner of dark justice. He doesn't want money. He doesn't want to be king of the pirates. He explicitly told us his motivation. I stay with the world government because it gives me a legal license to murder. He is a man who found a perfect system to harbor his bloodlust.
But a weapon is only flawless until it begins to feel. During the chaos of the Egghead Island incident, Oda did something entirely unexpected. He cracked the flawless armor of the world government's favorite assassin. He showed us that Lucci is not a machine. He is a deeply traumatized child soldier who is finally waking up to a brutal reality. To the gods he serves, he is entirely disposable. Today, we are diving deep into the dark history of Rob Lucci, analyzing the psychological programming that built him and mapping out the inevitable rogue future that awaits him in the final war. This is The Shattered Weapon, Rob Lucci's rogue destiny.
To understand why Lucci is breaking now, we have to understand how he was built. Lucci did not choose dark justice. It was beaten into him. According to SBS materials and databooks, Lucci, Kaku, Jabra, and the rest of the core Cypherpole units were taken by the world government at a tender age. By age 6, while Luffy was running free in Fuchsia Village dreaming of adventure, Lucci was already undergoing agonizing, hyper-lethal training in Rokushiki martial arts at a government black site called Guanhao. This wasn't an academy. It was a psychological meat grinder designed to strip away empathy, identity, and mercy. The defining moment of Lucci's mythos occurs when he is just 13 years old. A pirate crew holds 500 royal soldiers hostage, threatening to destabilize a kingdom. The young Lucci is sent in. He doesn't fight the pirates. Instead, he walks into the room of hostages and slaughters all 500 men in cold blood. His logic was chillingly simple. Weakness is a sin. A soldier who allows himself to be captured undermines the authority of the empire. To Lucci, the hostages were already guilty of failing the state.
When the furious pirates attack him in a blind rage following the massacre, a 13-year-old Lucci takes multiple cannon blasts directly to his back. He survives, but those massive wounds heal into a perfect, horrific replication of the world government symbol. At 13, Lucci was literally, physically branded by the state. His body, his mind, and his inherent bloodlust became intellectual property of the celestial dragons. He was no longer a person. He was a living extension of their absolute authority.
Lucci's entire philosophy relies on absolute social Darwinism. The strong rule, the weak are eliminated or enslaved. For decades, this philosophy worked perfectly for him because the world government sat undeniably atop the food chain. He could justify his horrific actions and his absolute obedience because he believed he was serving the apex power of the world. If power dictates right and wrong, then the executioners of the Gorosei could never be incorrect.
But notice the subtle details Oda began dropping during the Reverie arc. When Lucci intercepts Princess Vivi and states that the celestial dragons are gods who created this world, listen closely to his delivery. There is no reverence in his tone. There is no genuine loyalty. It is the cold, dead-eyed delivery of a man reading a corporate script. Lucci is brilliant. He isn't blinded by propaganda. He simply accepts the hierarchy because of the power dynamic. And that is where the psychological friction begins. Lucci knows the celestial dragons are sniveling, fragile weaklings who couldn't survive a single day in the Grand Line without the Marines or Cipher Pole protecting them. This creates a massive subconscious conflict within him. He fundamentally despises weakness, yet his entire existence is dedicated to protecting the absolute weakest, most pathetic creatures on the planet. For a long time, the only thing keeping him in line was the overwhelming, terrifying strength of the hidden power structures above them, the Gorosei.
Then comes Egghead Island, and everything Lucci believed about power, loyalty, and his own worth is utterly shattered. First, he runs into Monkey D. Luffy. 2 years ago, Luffy barely scraped by a victory against him at Eni's lobby. Now, Luffy faces him as Sun God Nika, a literal deity of freedom, laughing, bouncing, and completely humiliating Lucci's awakened leopard form without even trying. Luffy represents a power born of pure freedom and personal strength, the exact opposite of the rigid, brainwashed structure Lucci serves.
But the true emotional climax of Lucci's character arc doesn't happen during a fight. It happens in the quiet aftermath of defeat. After being battered by Luffy and decisively bested by Roronoa Zoro, Lucci finds himself face to face with the true rulers of the world, the Gorosei. His longtime partner and friend, Kaku, is trapped, heavily injured, and completely vulnerable to the crossfire. For the first time in his entire narrative history, Rob Lucci begs. He swallows his monstrous pride and asks the five elders to spare his partner's life.
And what is the response from his gods? The Gorosei don't even look at him. They dismiss CP0 entirely, callously stating they do not care about the lives of insignificant insects. The realization must have been catastrophic for Lucci's psyche. He spent his entire life slaughtering the weak because he believed he was a vital part of the ultimate power structure. But in the eyes of the true gods, he is the weak hostage. He is the disposable tool. The very ideology he used to justify slaughtering 500 soldiers at age 13 has just been weaponized against him.
So where does Rob Lucci go from here? Will he have a change of heart because of Luffy?
Let's be realistic. Oda is not going to turn Rob Lucci into a generic good guy. He is not going to join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, and he isn't going to start fighting for peace, justice, and friendship. Lucci is still a predatory animal. He still possesses an inherent, deeply ingrained love for combat and bloodlust. But a change of heart doesn't mean becoming a hero. It means breaking the chains of your programming. Lucci's trajectory is now aimed directly at defection. He cannot return to the world government, knowing that Kaku and the rest of his childhood companions are viewed as meaningless insects to be stepped on. If he stays, he faces execution or permanent silencing for his failures at Egghead and his brief truce with the Straw Hats. His future is a rogue path. We are likely going to see Lucci pull the remaining loyal members of CP9 and CP0 away from the world government entirely, becoming an independent, chaotic third party.
Imagine the poetic justice of the final war. Lucci pointing those lethal claws not at pirates, but at the Holy Knights or the Gorosei themselves. Not because he wants to save the world, and certainly not because he loves the Straw Hats, but for pure revenge. Because they insulted his strength. Because they threatened his crew. And because Luffy proved to him that true gods don't hide behind a desk in Marie Joie. They fight on the battlefield. The weapon is finally turning around to bite the hand that fed it.
Rob Lucci was raised to be a weapon without a soul, but through his crushing losses to Luffy
and the sheer cruelty of the masters he served, he is finally being forced to find one. When the dust settles on the final war, Lucci won't be remembered as the world government's greatest assassin. He will be remembered as the man who broke his own chains. But what do you think? Will Lucci officially defect from the world government alongside Kaku, or will his lifelong brainwashing keep him chained to dark justice until his very last breath? Let me know your theories in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.